My best friend cheated, and I know. My best friend, 28 female, cheated on her spouse with an old fling that has used and abused her from day one. She was never able to fully let him go, despite being in her current relationship for 3 years. A few months ago, she went over to his house, told her husband she was going to a friend's, and they ended up sleeping together. He, of course, ghosted her immediately, as is his MO. She was deeply hurt, but now is feeling great. She feels she got the closure she needed from this guy and is moving on with her life. Planning her wedding, COVID ruined their plans last year and they had a very small event just to make things legal, in which I am her maid of honor. Here's the thing though, the guilt is eating me alive. My husband and I are very close with her and hers, and every time I see her husband, I feel terrible knowing something like this and not telling him. My best friend absolutely refuses to tell him, as she knows this is his deal breaker and will leave her, plus will expose all the lies she told him about this particular person over the years. I know it's not my place to tell him, and she genuinely seems happier and like the relationship is going better now that she's gotten her closure, but I don't know how to swallow the guilt and stand by her and her husband as the maid of honor knowing what I know.
My husband convinced me to get a job at his company, hoping it would help him stop cheating. So my husband, 36 male, and I, 35 female, are high school sweethearts. We got pregnant in high school, dated for a few years after we had our baby, and we decided we did want to get married. Through every single up and down, we were there for one another. I honestly didn't think we could have a more perfect relationship. It's something I have been so proud about most of my life. Almost 4 months ago, my husband asked me to get a job at his company. Before this, I had just been working part-time jobs because we didn't really need the money since we weren't financially responsible for a child anymore. However, we agreed the extra money would be lovely to go towards our family trip funds, something we both and our son add to as often as possible. Our hope being to take a family vacation across Europe for a few months. And we are trying to make it happen sooner than later because our son is recently married. We want them to be able to still go on one trip without worrying about a new baby. Once I got the job, I thought it was such a great decision. I was making quite a bit of extra money and seeing my husband so much more. Well, a couple of weeks ago, one of his coworkers approached me and asked how I could be so cool with the ongoing situation. I had no idea what she was talking about, so I asked for more detail and she told me my husband and one of his coworkers had been having an affair for over a year. Well, honestly, I trust my husband more than this woman I just met. I told him about it that night and he immediately broke down. He told me he was sorry, but it was true. He said I'm still the love of his life, but he needs some... I can't even read the sentence. He said I'm still the love of his life, but he needs some excitement outside of our relationship. He told me he had been feeling so guilty about it, he asked me to start working there, hoping it would make him want to cheat less. But it's actually just caused them to stink around more and find the relationship even more hot. I feel like I should stick this out because we have been together for so long, and I know it would devastate our son, but I don't think I can move on from this. He didn't even apologize, just told me every man needs something new and exciting in a long-term relationship, and that it means nothing. Well, it certainly feels like something. Oh my god. Okay, so there's an update that she gives us. I was trying to figure out the best way to tell our son. I wanted to sit him down and let him know that my husband and I are getting a divorce. I bought the things to make his favorite meal and invited him over for dinner. Well, a couple of hours ago, he called me and was extremely upset. He said that my husband told him I cheated and we were getting a divorce. He begged my son not to tell me as it would just cause further problems. But my son wanted to know how I could do that to dad and couldn't stay silent. Wow, he gasped. Oh! I told him what actually happened over the phone and he started crying. I am absolutely furious that my husband put my son through that. Even though he's an adult, it's still a very upsetting topic and it should have been handled with care, not lies. I found a great divorce lawyer with my friend's help and I'm getting the ball rolling immediately. His mistress also messaged me after she found out I knew. She said I should be grateful that my husband and I had a good marriage while we did, but she would be taking my place now. I ignored her message and blocked her. I have an amazing support system in place and will be moving out later today. I'm staying with my friend and his wife until I can find a place of my own. I told my husband I was divorcing him and moving out. He broke down and asked how I could do this to our family. He said I'm the one making the decision to end it and I should be ashamed I would throw away our marriage. He said he couldn't believe I would throw in the towel so quickly. I told him to fuck off and go cry to his mistress. You know that stupid ass statistic people always say, like 80% of divorce are initiated by the woman? This is exactly why. This story exactly is why women initiate the divorce.
7-year-old Athena Strand was abducted and killed by a FedEx driver. A couple days ago on November 30, Wednesday afternoon, Athena came home from school and got into an argument with her stepmom. This is where we know at some point Athena stepped outside. While he was making a delivery, Tanner Horner, the 31-year-old FedEx driver, hit her with the truck. After hitting her, he grabbed her and tossed her in the truck in a panic. And unfortunately, out of fear of Athena telling her dad and him getting in trouble, he decided to strangle her to death. Even though she was not seriously injured. And he was actually delivering Athena's Christmas present, a set of Barbie dolls called the You Can Be Anything collection. After an hour without hearing from Athena, the stepmother looked for her and realized she was gone, then called the cops. And police tracked down Tanner after they discovered he had delivered a package to the house shortly after Athena's disappearance. He has been charged with capital murder, aggravated kidnapping, and his bail is at $1.5 million. And now Athena will never be able to get her Christmas present, and her life has been taken by a selfish man.
I accidentally made a comment about my girlfriend's weight and I don't know how to fix it. So here's the backstory. My male 21 girlfriend, female 19, and I have been together for 2 years. When we started dating, she was a gym rat. We constantly worked out together to keep ourselves in good shape. My girlfriend also had a son when she was 15 from another guy who never bothered to be around for her or the baby. She had to lose a lot for her baby. She was kicked out and worked 2 part-time jobs on top of school to pay for herself and the baby. However, he was diagnosed with leukemia a few months into the relationship and passed away 5 months ago after chemo failed. This hit my girlfriend hard. She got in contact with her parents, who offered for her to move back in and not work so that she could deal with her grief. Instead, she moved in with me, and I currently support her financially. Since his passing, she's gained over 65 pounds and is no longer in the shape that she was when we first started dating. She has gotten back to normal in some aspects, such as being able to enjoy doing things, and has been more again. Well, recently, I went to a party and ended up cheating on her. It was nothing past, and it was just because of how much her body reminded me of my old girlfriend. Turned out, a few of her friends were at the party and ended up taking pictures of us making out and then leaving together. So, when I came home the next morning, my girlfriend was obviously pissed. She was yelling and crying to me about how she trusted me and how she couldn't handle this after losing her baby. I didn't really think much of it. She's been erratic in her emotions since the loss, so I was letting her take her time to process it. She just wouldn't stop though. It was over a half hour before I snapped back and said, quote, "If you didn't get so big, then I wouldn't have to." I immediately apologized and tried to explain that I didn't mean it that way. She didn't listen and locked herself in the bedroom for the rest of the day. She wouldn't even let me in when it was time for bed, so I slept on the couch. The next day, we talked it out and we decided to try to deal with this going forward. However, she hasn't been the same. She refuses to have with me, and the one time that we did, she made the lights be off and didn't let me touch her. She hasn't been cooking meals and has only been getting food for me. She has canceled all dinner plans that I've made with our friends or told me to go alone. She hasn't been wearing the bright outfits that she usually wears and only wears black sweatpants with a sweatshirt. She doesn't let me cuddle her anymore, and she keeps a pillow in between us as she needs it to, quote, align her back at night, even though she faces the other way. We used to shower every morning together, and she hasn't done that either. She's been showering when I'm at work or locks both the bedroom and bathroom door. She barely talks to me or even looks at me. I've tried holding her hand and she pulled it away. Everything that I try to do with her, she just ignores me. I'm just so done with her acting so distant and cold to me. I want to be able to go back to the relationship we had before she lost her son, or even before she started acting distant to me. My one friend has 2 kids of her own and said that I am at fault for doing that less than 6 months after she lost her baby. Also went off on me about how I should have never commented on her weight and that a lot of people would turn to food as a comfort. My girlfriend was diagnosed with binge eating disorder when she was 13. She went to treatment, and that's when she became a health nut, and said that I will never understand how she currently feels. But we both agreed that we wanted to have more kids. This conversation took place after he passed, so I feel like that should have given her some closure towards his death. I feel like if she's acting this way, then our relationship isn't going to last much longer. I know that her dad told her recently that she is still welcome to move back home, and even offered to pay for her grief counseling that she goes to 3 times a week. I don't know how long I can put up with her having this much attitude. I'm worried that I'm going to make the same mistake if she doesn't take care of my needs soon. I just need to get her back to who she was before. What can I do to help her get over this? Is there anything I can say to make this better?
Yeah, you can fucking choke on my bro. That's what you can do. Do that and then go eat a big pile of fucking shit. Like, that's what you should do. I'm gonna talk to the girl. She needs to leave him immediately. Immediately. Expeditiously. The fact that he makes the death of her son about him.
Yeah, that's
bro,
nuts.
fuck.